Of course, we cannot ignore current geopolitical developments in the region. What is happening today, following the US and Israeli war on Iran, followed by Iran's aggression against Gulf states and the shelling of oil fields and refineries, all these factors have affected all Gulf nations regarding oil production, as did the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which disrupted shipping and tankers. The UAE saw this as the most opportune time because, once the Strait of Hormuz reopens, there will undoubtedly be renewed movement and production. The UAE's decision to withdraw was not surprising, though perhaps the timing was. Some may have been caught off guard at this moment, but this decision stems from prior studies, positions, and calculations. This is what led the UAE to take such a step. It has a different vision and feels that its presence in OPEC significantly restricts its economic movement and oil production. Therefore, I believe all OPEC members are aware of the UAE's position. Previous stances may have hinted at the UAE's desire for further expansion. But of course, the OPEC structure is what limits the UAE from increasing its production. Thus, the decision came at this time and in this manner. I believe the timing was significant in its connotations because it came at a point where it did not impact oil prices. This reflects both intelligence and responsibility on the part of the UAE. It was keen to take this step when it would not disrupt oil markets or affect other producers. Of course, we cannot ignore current geopolitical developments in the region. What is happening today, following the US and Israeli war on Iran, followed by Iran's aggression against Gulf states and the shelling of oil fields and refineries, all these factors have affected all Gulf nations regarding oil production, as did the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which disrupted shipping and tankers. The UAE saw this as the most opportune time because, once the Strait of Hormuz reopens, there will undoubtedly be renewed movement and production. However, no matter the level of production, it will not cover the losses incurred over the past 2 months. Hundreds of millions of barrels were disrupted, production dropped, and it affected energy abroad. Therefore, the UAE found that it must now benefit from its long-term investments, worth tens of billions, in oil production and fields. As we know, the UAE loses roughly 1.5 million barrels per day, neither produced nor extracted, due to its commitment to OPEC and OPEC+. Consequently, today's decision will undoubtedly remove this restriction, enabling it to produce the quantities it is capable of, thereby benefiting the state and consumers worldwide. Undoubtedly, the exit of a country with the weight and size of the UAE affects the organization. However, it does not reach a level of critical danger. The UAE produces approximately 13% of OPEC's share, meaning we are still talking about over 77% for the other member states. I believe an organization like OPEC, which is nearly 60 years old, is capable of handling the departure of a member in a way that prevents collapse. Certainly, the UAE's exit is influential as a heavyweight member. But I believe such a scenario has been on the table for a long time. OPEC and its leadership are aware of the UAE's direction and requirements. Therefore, OPEC as an organization will certainly remain through its existing members. Could other members also withdraw as the UAE did? This remains unknown. Most countries have not clarified their positions, while some have confirmed they are staying. Thus, as an organization, it persists, and it is capable of continuing because it serves the goals of its members, who benefit from the organization and its global role. Firstly, the UAE's decision does not look toward praise from Trump or criticism from others. The UAE's decision is a sovereign one. Just as it is sovereign, it is economic and not political, despite how some try to frame it. Everyone knows Trump has a stance against OPEC. For years, he criticized the organization's role and its impact on oil markets. However, the UAE does not view the matter from a political angle as much as an economic one. How it can increase production, maintain global oil availability, and ensure consumers benefit from oil at reasonable prices. These are the primary reasons for the UAE's decision. Today, the UAE feels it has made the right and sound choice at the right time, one that harms no one, but, on the contrary, may benefit various parties. This stems from the UAE's policy and its local national trends, as well as its global responsibility toward the international community and the world economy. The UAE was very clear, and I believe the signals it sent to everyone indicated that it will remain responsible within its framework, even from outside the organization. Its cooperation with oil-producing nations will remain fruitful and ongoing. Those who know the UAE know it is a responsible state, and they trust it. The UAE does not adopt policies that harm any party. Therefore, I believe the communications that took place over the past few days have reassured the UAE's friends regarding its position and future role, that its role will remain complementary to other oil-producing nations. I don't believe this will change much because the world knows the UAE. They have dealt with the UAE and seen its positions across many files. This is likely what reassures the market in general and reassures producers as well.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.